If you were to ask me, what's your most anticipated game of 2022, you might expect me to say Splatoon 3, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, or Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but no.
Come on!
It's actually a game releasing here in August that was previously only available in Japan right until recently when it got confirmed for Western release. It's a little game with a not so little title called Shinshan, Me and the Professor on Summer Vacation, The Endless 7-Day Journey. Whew. The game revolves around a little 5-year-old boy called Shinshan, who you might know from movies, the anime, or even from other games he's appeared in over the years. But this one is quite a lot different from other stuff he's been part of. It mimics a long-running series called Boku No Natsuyatsumi, aka My Summer Vacation. In those games you play as Boku, a 9-year-old Japanese kid visiting his uncle and auntie for the summer. You can do all sorts of things like catch bugs, explore the lands, make friends, and fly kites. It's all, well, relatively simple stuff, but the important goal of it all is that it was meant to make you relive your childhood, or childhood you wish you had. Now, Boku no Natsuyatsumi had multiple releases down the road, 4 to be exact, but the sad part is that these games never made it outside Japan. Maybe they thought people in the West wouldn't get the appeal of living out a Japanese childhood, but to our luck, the West actually did get one game down the road for the 3DS made by the same team and director. Now, having grown up with Shinshan, I was already really excited for this game coming in August, but this 3DS digital exclusive was actually what really made me fall in love with these types of games. The game I'm talking about here is a game called Attack of the Friday Monsters: A Tokyo Tale. In this little game, you play as Soto, a little boy who just moved to this little village in the outskirts of Tokyo, where his mother and father run a dry cleaning shop. You're told that every Friday, monsters appear by the city, so you want to go out and find out more about this mystery. But not before you help Mama out with some chores, as she needs you to take some clean clothes to the baker lady down the street, and thus you set out on your adventure. You can either choose to follow the story strictly or go explore what this little town has to offer. You'll make friends, enemies, and first and foremost, play card battles. You'll collect cards by gathering up these small shards, and when you have enough of these shards, they transform into a card, just like magic. You might find a shard by the river, or one under the bridge. These are scattered everywhere, so it makes it really fun to go out and explore, either during or in between your small quest. You're very early on tasked with gathering 5 cards so you can battle some kids in the village, and these cards are essentially just rock, paper, scissors with extra steps. You both lie down 5 cards each, and then the game tells you how many of these 5 battles you're winning, drawing, or losing. You then get to move 2 of these cards based on the hints the game gives you, and this is a neat little challenge, almost like a puzzle. Winning isn't just for the sake of winning though. Because if you manage to win over one of the kids, you'll get to be their boss and cast a spell on them. Spells which you can customize in the settings, and some of these are really hilarious when they read them out loud.
じわじわぐるぐるドロンドロンすってんころりん踊り出す
It's not really of any importance to the story, right until it is, because when you're someone's boss, they might reveal certain information they wouldn't normally share, and some of this information you actually need to progress the story this game has to offer. It's a neat aspect to a game that makes it a bit more fun to go around and talk to the townsfolk. They're always up for a chat, and they can be found all over the map. They also change location fairly often and have new stuff to say once you meet them again. This also helps immersing yourself into the experience, as a character isn't always when you left them. Just like real life, these people too has their own path to follow. Now, I do really want to talk more about this game, but it's the sort of thing that is better experienced by yourself, as there are some fun twists and surprises to be had. I also suggest, if this game seems intriguing, that you add it to your collection sooner rather than later, since this is a digital-only 3DS game, meaning that on the 28th of March 2023, you won't be able to buy this game, well, ever. The 28th of March is also my birthday, so sheesh, Nintendo, what a birthday gift that is. There's just so much to love about this game. The memorable music, which sounds like something ripped out of an anime or a Studio Ghibli movie. Seriously, I'll link this soundtrack down below because it's a real treat for the ears. But if I had to choose my favorite aspect of this game, it's the way walking into new area works. See, all the areas have different camera angles. Some might be super wide bird's eye view showcasing a big part of the town. Others might be a close-up of a hill or a shot down a long corridor. There really aren't any rules, so the developers got really creative to create some beautiful scenes to walk around in. If you want another example of this type of visual art style I'm talking about here, we should look at Resident Evil. Probably the game that popularized this style of like having the camera at all sorts of locations, and man, could these two games just not be any different. Sure, the way the camera works is pretty much the same, but instead of Attack of the Friday Monsters, which is a feel-good game with no worries, Resident Evil is a horror game, giving you a completely different experience, since you don't really know what lurks around the corner. It's really the simplicity of Attack of the Friday Monsters that pulls me in. Most of the time there really isn't any music, just the sounds this little village has to offer. The quests are simple, the map is small, but god, my love for this game could just not be any higher. This is, though, a rather short game. It only takes around 3 hours to complete the main story, but in contrast, the game is only $8 on the eShop. One question remains, why is this such a short adventure? Well, for that we have to look at a compilation the studio Level 5 made back in 2012 called the Guild series. This was a collection of games which was sort of compiled by Level 5, but each game was developed by a different team. They released 2 compilations, Guild 01, which released in 2012, while Guild 02 released the following year. Now, Guild 01 did get a physical release, but Guild 02 not so much. That was a digital-only title. It was in this Guild 02 that Attack of the Friday Monsters came to be. And since all of these games in the compilation were meant to be relatively small projects, well, this one was no different. I also just think that they thought that this game didn't need to be any longer. It had a story, it told it, and that's it. Sometimes less said is better. This game, of course, had a man behind it all, and this man was Kaz Ayabe, who is the founding father of Millennium Kitchen, where he's now CEO and lead game designer. He was also the director and leading force behind all 4 My Summer Vacation games, this Attack of the Friday Monsters game, plus the new Shinchan game coming to the West later in August. Before founding Millennium Kitchen, he did work at a couple of different places. NMK, a place that developed arcade and console games, and later K-Idea, where he worked on games for the Super Famicom like Jungle Wars 2. After parting ways with K-Idea, he decided in 1997 to create his own studio that came to be known as Millennium Kitchen. Ayabe's main reason for leaving K-Idea was that he always had this idea for a video game, and this video game came to be known as Boku No Natsuyatsumi, or My Summer Vacation. My Summer Vacation was released in the year 2000 for the PlayStation 1, but the game itself took place in the year 1975, where you play as Boku for the first month in his summer vacation. There's a lot of stuff to do in this game, and even so much that you won't have time to do it all in 30 days in-game. You know, just like real life, you will have to prioritize what you want to do, and what must wait for another time. The overall goal is as simple as the game itself, to have a good, memorable summer vacation. Fun fact, when they were taking pictures for the first game, box art and stuff, the picture you see of the clouds is also used in another game's box art, Everybody's Golf 3, and it's just mirrored, and I don't know, I just found it really funny that they had just used the same picture. My Summer Vacation proved to be a success, selling over 200,000 copies, and with success like that, there comes a demand for a sequel. So the next couple of years, Millennium Kitchen worked on a follow-up game in the My Summer Vacation series. We didn't have to wait long, since 2 years after the first one, My Summer Vacation 2 released on the PlayStation 2 in 2002. Number 2 fans were feasting that year. The second one proved to be even more successful than the first one, selling over 375,000 copies, making it the best-selling game in the series. A couple of years later, in 2007, we got My Summer Vacation 3 for the PlayStation 3, and 2 years later we got My Summer Vacation 4 for the PSP. The second and third entry were both set in August of 1975, just like the first game. You also played as Boku, but it was in a parallel universe, since the game takes place at very different locations. For example, the second one is set at a coastal village. But that was not the only game in the series set around the sea, since the fourth game, My Summer Vacation 4, was also set at a coastal village. Just that now it is not set in 1975, but instead 10 years later in 1985. I think in this game you play as a new main character, but I unfortunately could just not find the info online. It's just really hard to find information about these games, since most of the stuff written about the series is written, well, in Japanese, which I don't speak or read. So if some of you watching have played any of the 4 My Summer Vacation games, please let me know your experiences with it down in the comments below, since I really wish to learn more about this game series. And who knows, maybe one day I could even make a video centered about these 4 games. But time will tell. So, Millennium Kitchen and Kasayabe has basically spent most of their collective career working on the My Summer Vacation games, perfecting the series, releasing new iterations on nearly every PlayStation console. Along the way, they also lended a hand with a few other games like the Magician's Quest series and Stellar Glow. Attack of the Friday Monsters was their first time developing a game in the style of the My Summer Vacation series for a Nintendo platform. But it wouldn't be their last, since they most recently released the Shinchan game in Japan, which is the whole reason why I'm making this video. And that brings us to the present day, because Shinchan, the endless 7-day journey, is right around the corner for a Western release. If you, like me, are planning on getting this game when it releases in August, I would definitely give Attack of the Friday Monsters a try to get you a feeling of what you're getting yourself into. Because Attack of the Friday Monsters and this Shinchan game bears a lot of similarities. Now, I've not played the Shinchan game yet, but looking at the trailers, a lot of the scenery looks the same. You have a family, make childhood friends, and go around collecting stuff. It's the same directors, same studio making the game, so of course these games are going to be similar, and I wouldn't want it any other way, since this just looks to be a bigger, better Attack of the Friday Monsters. It's short, sweet, and soon to be unavailable to purchase, so if you were to ask me, better safe than sorry. But what do you think of these games? Are you as excited as me to play this Shinchan game here in August? Let us know in the comments below. Oh, also, while you're down there, let us know if you've played Attack of the Friday Monsters and your experiences with it. It's not a game I see talked about a lot on the internet, and I would love to hear if any other people had similar experiences to this game as I had. Well, if you like this video, why don't you press that subscribe button before it becomes unavailable on my birthday? And check out our website, nintendolife.com, for all sorts of Nintendo related content. Stay safe, play some video games. Felix from Nintendo Life, out.